We are back. Hey, listen, the next guest, Miss Duson, was given the vision after reading Dr. Miles Monroe's book, Becoming a Leader. And a leader is certainly what she's become. Helping others handle life adversities became her cause. So without further ado, please welcome to our show, her first time, Miss Chinaza Duson. Welcome.
Oh, my goodness, my goodness, my goodness. Well, thank you, Clark, so much for having me this evening. I truly count it an honor and a privilege anytime I get to share and pour out to the masses. How are you this evening?
I am wonderful. It rained on me, but, I got my rock ginger ale here, so I'm doing fantastic.
Awesome, awesome. Well, that's good to hear. Well, thank you again for having me. It's truly a pleasure. I'm ready to get started. I'm excited to be with you this evening.
Well, I've certainly been looking forward to this part, or just having you on the show, period. So we'll get started. First of all, how does your story begin?
Wow. Well, interesting enough, my story, like most people, not to be funny, but it begins with birth, and literally being birthed into a destiny. I always tell people that I feel like my life is kind of mirrored after one of my favorite books and one of my favorite authors, Paulo Coelho. He's the author behind The Alchemist. And interesting enough, I believe that I was birthed into a world to be able to break a curse. I believe that my life started at the right age of 6 weeks, having been birthed to a heroin-addicted home, a generational legacy of 9 prostitutes. Being birthed into that, I was that seed that God would plant, and I would discover it obviously when I was 8 years old, I would come to discover that I was the child that would be charged with breaking the generational curse of my family. Such destitution, such poverty-stricken mindsets, such a place of degradation, and it was really painful. So for me, I had to be the one to shift because this had extended over 10 generations. And having me born into this back in the late 70s, God saw fit that I would have to go through it in order to help others come out of it. So that's kind of where my story begins, as being born to that heroin-addicted mother who literally survived a brutal attack, having her throat slashed from ear to ear, and God still saw fit for me to come through all of that and be where I am today.
And you mentioned the book, The Alchemist. Hey, guys, if you haven't read The Alchemist, you got to run out tonight. Yeah, tonight, not tomorrow, and get this book. It is a fantastic book, and you're the second person that's come on the show and said it has basically been a guide to the road you've traveled. Having worked 10 years in corporate America, or at least 10 years or more, what did that teach you?
Wow. Interesting enough, Clark, having been in corporate America for 10 years, it taught me a couple of things. Again, having been on this whole trail of breaking this legacy, coming out of this, what I often refer to around the country when I speak as this slavery mindset. That's really what I refer to it as. It taught me a few things. One, it gave me life skills, obviously. Two, it gave me a sense of professionalism. It taught me the desire that, one, I wanted to go out and become an entrepreneur. That's what corporate America really forced me to do. I was so uncomfortable in corporate America with taking instruction. And I mean taking instruction to the point of where I felt like I didn't have freedom. I couldn't come and go as I wanted to. My capacity to grow was limited by a description that someone had put me in a box. And that, to me, was uncomfortable. So corporate America taught me the skills that I needed to thrive, but it also taught me how to capitalize because at the end of the day, I understood leverage, and someone was leveraging my time, Clark, and getting paid very well for that. And corporate America taught me, okay, this is one of those things that I'm going to have to change for the legacies following me. So I decided that I wanted my children to become entrepreneurs, and the only way that I was going to have that happen is if I broke out of my shell and I began to do that on my own. So corporate America positioned me very well to become financially free. That's what corporate America taught me.